What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. And you see the book? That can only mean one thing. It is not WrestleMania predictions, which I apologize if the video was too long. I apologize. There was a lot to talk about. There was a lot to talk about as far as WrestleMania went. This one might be no different because today I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for NXT Stand and Deliver. And I'm going to be honest, looking at this card, this is going to be a very this is probably going to be one of the most stacked NXT Premium Live events we've had in quite some time. In fact, I think last time it was what NXT TakeOver New York, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Give me 1 second here. NXT. Here we are. TakeOver New York. Give me 1 second, guys. Because the card for TakeOver New York, all the way back in 2019, was stupidly stacked. And even I have to admit this was a pretty stacked card. So there were a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches on the main card, but there were 3 matches that took place inside the Barclays Center. That was for a future episode of NXT, and one of them was Candice LeRae against Aaliyah with Vanessa Bourne. Then we had Jackson Riker against Danny Burch. And last but not least, we had the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Against Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel, formerly known now as Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah. So the main card for TakeOver New York was War Raiders, Hanson and Rowe, or I guess now Eric and Ivar against Aleister Black and Ricochet. Then we had the Velveteen Dream against Matt Riddle, in which the tag match was for the NXT tag titles. This one was for the North American title. Then we had Gunther versus Pete Dunne for the NXT UK title. Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's title. And then, of course, Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 falls for the NXT title, which was an instant classic. This time, we have Stand... Ooh, excuse me. After drinking water, that happened? Damn. Anyway, so today we got predictions for NXT Stand and Deliver 2023, and I'm gonna be honest, again, looking at this card, this might just be the most stacked card of all time. But before we get into my predictions, if you guys enjoy the video and you guys want to see more premium live event predictions and results in the future, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And guys, as of right now, just to show you my phone, you guys see it. You guys see it right there. We are right now, right here. Let me try and show it off again. Show you guys right there. We are currently now 47 subscribers away from 200. We are drawing closer and closer to the goal. And as I have said in previous videos, if this channel gets to 200 subs, I will open up this Korean Strike of Neos box in its entirety on the channel, on the hopes to pull the so-called Forbidden Yu-Gi-Oh card, Elemental Hero Air Neos. But if the channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up my first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel, on the hopes to potentially pull a collector's rare card, which could be pretty much anything at this point. It could be probably the most expensive one. I think is Cyframe Gear Gamma, if I remember correctly, which is kind of an odd one, but it is what it is. So, but if you guys want to see these boxes get open and you guys want more premium live event results, predictions, if you guys want all the good shit in future videos, subscribe to the channel, guys, because we got the good shit, guys. We got the good shit. I'm talking premium live event predictions, results, WWE news videos, Yu-Gi-Oh card discussions, meaning I reveal new cards in upcoming sets, deck profiles. You guys want all that? My channel is the place to be. Subscribe, hit the bell so you do not miss out. With that being said, let's get straight into this video. Kicking these off, we have a match that... So, before we get to that, apparently there's been rumors that there's supposed to be eight matches on the card. I don't think there will be. But the first one here... I'll actually get rid of this. The first one is an 8-person mixed tag team match between all 4 members of the Schism, which feature the team of Joe Gacy, Jagger Reed, Rip Fowler, and of course Ava, taking on all 4 members of Andre Chase University, which includes Andre Chase, Thea Hale, Duke Hudson, and of all people, Tyler Bate, the former NXT UK champion, the first and last ever, and the only 2-time NXT UK champion in history. And that right there just speaks for itself. Just right there alone. This is interesting because this is a match to determine who will gain control of Andre Chase University. We don't... Probably the dumbest decision Duke Hudson made, but it was the only way. Excuse me. It was the only way for the university to get Joe Gacy and the rest of Schism to accept their challenge for Stand and Deliver. And this is interesting because people seem to forget that Fowler and Reed, the Dyad, they became the first ever NXT UK Tag Team Champions at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 1, which TakeOver Blackpool 1 had an incredible takeover. That takeover was incredible. I think, what was on the card? What was it? Tony Storm and Rhea Ripley, Mustache Mountain and the Dyad, Finn Balor versus JD McDonough. Originally, it was supposed to have been McDonough against Travis Banks, but Balor took over. Butch and Joe Coffey for the NXT UK title, and if I remember correctly, there was one other one. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I want to see what's the late. NXT UK. Here we are. Takeover Blackpool 1. If I remember correctly, it was those matches plus Dave Mastiff and Eddie Dennis. That's right. Then the matches that were on NXT UK TV, we had Ligero against Saxon Huxley. Then we had Barthel and Eichner against Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Basically, it was Imperium versus Subculture, and then Ginny, who is now officially retired, who is now officially retired from professional wrestling in altogether, which is a bit unfortunate, against Isla Dawn. And then we had Takeover Blackpool 2, which I believe they were in Takeover Blackpool 2, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Let's see here. Takeover Blackpool 2 featured Eddie Dennis and Trent Seven, Kaylee Ray, or I guess now Alba Fire, Tony Storm and Piper Niven, for the NXT UK Women's title. Tyler Bate and Jordan Devlin, which was an instant classic. Gallus, Imperium, Gibson, Drake, the dyad, and of course Subculture in a ladder match for the tag titles, and then of course Gunter, and Joe Coffey for the NXT UK title. Impressive card. Yeah, pretty impressive. And now, they're here. They're here. At Stand and Deliver. Honestly, again, this is a bit of this is interesting. Again, they're former NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Ava is a 4th generation superstar, the only 4th gen superstar in WWE. And Joe Gacy, he's a bit of a freak, I will say. And then of course you got Chase U. You got Andre Chase, who has 15, 16, close to 20 years experience in the business. Duke Hudson, he's had multiple opportunities at Championship Gold in NXT. Couldn't accomplish that. Tyler Bate, former NXT Tag Team Champion, former NXT UK Tag Team Champion, the first and last and the only 2-time NXT UK Champion ever in WWE history, which is amazing. The question becomes, who wants this more? Is it Schism or is it Chase U? And honestly, both of these groups, they need this victory. But the problem is that Duke Hudson, his mindset is not in this. And you guys saw last night on NXT that clearly Duke Hudson wants Schism to win. But the question is, are they going to? That remains to be seen. But I gotta go with Chase U on this one. If Andre Chase wants to keep his university, he has to rally the troops and do whatever is necessary to win. Because if they lose, then Andre Chase, what's the term? Reputation. His reputation is basically shot. So I'm picking Chase U on this one. But next up, we have a triple threat match for the NXT Tag Team titles between Gallus, the Creed Brothers, and the D'Angelo family. This has the makings of a a instant classic. Triple threat rules. First team to get the pin or the submission, walk out tag team champions. Honestly, I'm super excited. I'm super excited for this one because don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all three of these teams, but the one team that's actually the dark horse of this match is actually Tony D'Angelo and Stax. Why? Simple. They've never held championship gold in NXT. The Creed brothers have. Gallus has. Gallus became the longest reigning NXT UK Tag Team Champions of all time, and they did that by winning. What was it in? What was it on? It was in. It was on an episode of NXT UK right after Takeover Cardiff, actually, where they defeated Subculture to become champions, and they held the titles ever since. And I have to, and I got to admit, I did not think that Gallus was gonna hold on to the titles for that long, but unfortunately they did because of COVID. Because of COVID, but they were able to continue their run as champions, even through COVID. You know, they were able to help promote NXT UK and promote that they were going to be going back to in-ring competition, which meant ring rust would come into play, and the ring rust was the reason why they lost the titles. Now they're back. Better, stronger, and now more dangerous than we had ever seen them before. And the best part is that, Gallus is now at the top of their game. But so are the Creed brothers. They're at the top of their game as well, in spite of losing the NXT Tag Team titles. In spite of that, they're at the top of their game. Stax and D'Angelo, we don't know if they're gonna be the ones to become champions, because they're the dark horses. Odds are we could potentially see them walk out as champions, but only time will tell. But this is a bit of an interesting one because truth be told, the Creed brothers do have a little bit of beef, not a lot, just a little bit of beef with Gallus after the fiasco that happened last September with Gallus and the Creed brothers, and even also, with Briggs and Jensen and Pretty Deadly. There was chaos back in September on NXT, and truth be told, the Creeds, they want payback, but they respect Gallus for being the tag team champions that they knew that Gallus would be. And honestly, I've got nothing but respect for Gallus. All three of these teams I got nothing but respect for. But if I had to make my pick, Gallus boys on top. I think Mark Coffey and Wolfgang are going to be the ones to walk out of LA, out of here in LA as tag team champions. No doubt about it. Next up, we have a fatal we have a five-way dance for the NXT North American title between a pair of Lees. You guys are wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. So we have two people, two guys with the last name Lee. We have Wes Lee and Dragon Lee. Yeah, Dragon Lee is this dude, Dragon Lee, is a crazy, awesome dude. This dude has traveled all over the world, and now is a part of and is now a part of WWE, and his accomplishments speak for themselves. I mean, oh, hang on, guys. My brother texted me. Hang on, guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. Anyway, his accomplishments speak for themselves. All Pro Wrestling King of the Indies tournament, 2018 and 2019. He actually won both tournaments. Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. I probably butchered that. I apologize. Two-time World Lightweight Champion. One-time World Welterweight Champion. Bodybuilding Contest Beginners category 2013. Bodybuilding Contest Intermediate category 2014 and 2015. AAA World Tag Team Champion with Dralistico. The Crash Lucha Libre Tag Team Champion with said Dralistico. Speaking of that man, speaking of Dralistico, Cause Lucha Libre Tag Team Champion, new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Torneo de Parejas Familiares 2019 with Mystico. Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked him number 41 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 2021. Pro Wrestling Revolution Tag Team Champion. Two-time Ring of Honor World Television Champion and two-time World Tag Team Champion in Ring of Honor with Kenny King. And of course, Wrestling Observer named him Rookie of the Year in 2014. Think about that. Think about that, guys. Those accomplishments speak for themselves. So not only do we have Wesley, we have Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Ilya Dragunov, and Axiom, who last night won a battle royal to earn the final spot in this fatal 5-way match. Here's the thing. Axiom is a man of mystery. He kind of reminds me of A-Kid from NXT UK, but let's be real. He's definitely A-Kid. He's definitely he is definitely yeah, I was right. Yeah, I know he's Axiom. Not much to say about that. There really isn't. There really is not much to say about it, except the fact that Axiom is a tough dude. JD McDonough and Ilya Dragunov, they've been at each other's throats for months. Dragon Lee is getting his big debut, is having his in-ring debut at Stand and Deliver, and Wes Lee, this isn't his first Stand and Deliver, because his first one, he was tag team champion. He became tag team champion. Last year's Stand and Deliver, he retained the NXT tag team titles. This time, history could potentially repeat itself, but this is a fatal 5-way, meaning he does not have to be pinned or made to submit to be involved in, to lose his title. He doesn't have to. So it would come down to Dragon Lee, Axiom, McDonough, or Dragunov. And I think, honestly, don't get me wrong. Dragon Lee is a man of mystery. We don't know much about him, given the fact that he's only been in NXT for not even 2 months. So we don't know much about him. But what we do know is that Dragon Lee is one of the top tier talent to have ever been signed to NXT. Wesley has so much. Excuse me. Has a lot riding on this match, because if he wins, then he'll be 3-0 at Stand and Deliver. But if he loses, he drops the title. Plain and simple. The way I see it is Dragon Lee. That's the dark horse of the match, but it's Axiom that's the wild card. Meaning because that he just qualified to be a part of this Fatal 5-Way, odds are we might see him walk out as champion. But if I had to pick, I gotta go with Dragon Lee on this one, and the reason being is because McDonough and Dragunov, they just want to tear the living fuck out of each other, and just give no fucks about it. They don't give a damn about the NXT North American title. All they care about is beating the hell out of each other, which is going to happen this Saturday morning at Stand and Deliver. So the way I see it, if there's one person that I want to see walk out as champion other than Wesley and Axiom, it's definitely going to be Dragon Lee. So my money is on Dragon Lee on this one. Next up, we've got a match for the women's tag team titles between the champions Fallon Henley and Kiana James against the unholy pair of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Never thought I would see that come to pass, but it's interesting because Fallon Henley and Kiana James have only been tag team champions since this past February, since almost 2 months ago at Vengeance Day, and this is interesting because when you really look at it, when you look at Fallon Henley and Kiana James, the pairing is so off. The pairing is just not there. It's not there. The chemistry that they have is completely off. Whereas opposed to both Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, their chemistry, it goes all the way back to NXT UK. They battled each other countless times over the NXT UK Women's title when Alba Fire was the NXT UK Women's Champion for almost 2 years. And if I remember correctly, how long was she champion for? I want to see about something. 649 days. She was NXT UK Women's Champion. Yeah, 649 days as champion. That's what? 2 years? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Let me see. It's what, 365 times 2? Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. So let's see. It would be minus what? 80 days, isn't it? Let's see, 30. Minus 91? No. Maybe 81. Yeah. So she was literally 81 days off from holding the title for 2 years. she was 81 days off, which would have been a massive milestone. So Dawn and Fire, for Dawn and Fire, the chemistry is there, but for Fallon and James, it's not there. And we saw last night, Kiana James, she's hiding the whole Sebastian thing from Brooks Jensen. So you know damn well Fallon Henley is gonna keep an eye on Kiana James, and they're just gonna bicker. They're gonna lose track. They're gonna lose focus, and they're gonna lose the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Which, honestly, I don't want to see that, but it's going to happen. So I gotta go with Dawn. I gotta go with Island Dawn and Alba Fire. And speaking of the women's division, originally it was supposed to have been a fatal 5-way ladder match for the NXT Women's title, but now with Roxanne Perez medically cleared, it is now a 6-pack challenge between the champion Roxanne Perez and the challengers Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, and Indy Hartwell, who last night on NXT won a last chance triple threat match to earn that spot. Now here's the thing, and back at NXT Roadblock, Roxanne Perez defended her title against Mako Satomura. And apparently it was her anxiety and her exhaustion was what caused her to collapse. We found out last night on NXT, and the thing is that she told Shawn Michaels, hey, I want to defend my title at Stand and Deliver. Here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that she's doing good. I'm glad that she's healthy and she's good to go. I'm glad. But the way I see it, in the wrestling industry, there's an old saying. I don't know if you guys have heard this old saying, but there's an old saying that goes stubbornness can be your biggest weakness. That old saying means that you becoming stubborn, as in like you letting your pride go in front of you, will take you to you guys get the idea. You guys get the idea. Basically, she's letting her pride as champion become her stubbornness. Is what I'm trying to get at. The way I see it, I feel like she should have just stayed back. I feel like she should have just stayed back, took Shawn's advice, and said, you know what, I'm gonna let you get first crack at the title, and yeah. Basically, she's literally letting her pride get to her, and that is not good. that's not good. She could potentially lose her title, but let's be real. All the other five women are more than deserving of being champion. But if I had to pick one out of all 6, it has to be Indy Hartwell. The reason being, she's long overdue a run as NXT Women's Champion. She is long overdue. Think about this. Indy Hartwell is a former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion alongside Candice LeRae. She has more experience in NXT than all of the other 5 women combined, and that says a lot. That says a lot. So if Indy Hartwell doesn't win, then she could potentially, and she could very may well end up leaving WWE, which is a possibility. We don't know much about what Indy Hartwell will do. But I can tell you one thing right now: Indy Hartwell needs this match. Now, aside from her, I'm picking Roxanne Perez. I think if she can somehow manage to keep her anxiety in check, she has the potential to walk out of Stand and Deliver as NXT Women's Champion. And honestly, I would love nothing more than to go to Stand and Deliver and work the commentary booth with Vic Joseph and Booker T. So if you guys want to see that, if you guys want to see me on the commentary booth for NXT Stand and Deliver, let your voices be heard. Let WWE know. Let Shawn Michaels know on Twitter. Hey, I'm in. I want in. I want to be a part of Stand and Deliver, and be sure to tag me. Tag my Twitter, which is at @IamNash_WWE. Tag that, and be sure to tag Shawn Michaels and let him know, hey, I want in. So if you guys want to see it, see it happen. Let your voices be heard and make it happen, because this is going to be a very stacked card, and I cannot wait for Stand and Deliver. But again, my two top picks are Indy Hartwell and Roxanne Perez. But truth be told, while it is true I do want one of those two to win, my dark horse, which is my pick, Tiffany Stratton. Reason being, she's basically the wild card. She's basically the wild card / the dark horse of the match, which means she could just easily sneak up and just snag the title. It's possible. It is very, very possible. Very, very, very possible. But only time will tell. We don't know, but we will find out on Saturday. And now we move on to what could very may well be the biggest match, one of the biggest matches on the NXT card at Stand and Deliver, and that is the battle between Grayson Waller and Johnny Gargano. This is actually Gargano's first NXT Premium Live Event match since War Games. And if you guys look back on War Games 2021, let me go back. 2021. Takeover 36. Nope. Extreme Rules 21. No. Crown Jewel 21. Survivor Series. No. Here we are. War Games 2021 match card. Let's see. Team Gonzalez against Team Kai, which was obviously War Games. Duke Hudson versus Cameron Grimes. Hair versus Hair. Imperium versus Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. Never thought that pairing would ever work, but it did until Von Wagner decided to play Fuck You. Roger Strong versus Joe Gacy for the Cruiserweight title, which was a bit of an odd one. Here we are. Team Ciampa versus Team Break, or I guess Team Black and Gold versus Team 2.0. Team Black and Gold featured Tommaso Ciampa, Butch, Johnny Gargano, and L.A. Knight, and then Team 2.0 featured Braun Breaker, Grayson Waller, Tony D'Angelo, and Carmelo Hayes. That match was amazing, and it basically started with that. It literally started with that, and that's where this rivalry, the rivalry between Waller and Gargano pretty much starts, because on the Tuesday after War Games, Shawn Michaels told Johnny Gargano, hey, since this is your last night in WWE, we're gonna give you all the time you need. All the time you need. And he right when he was about to cut his promo, wham! Chair shot to the back, sends Johnny Gargano packing by by Grayson Waller, and from that point forward, Waller became arguably one of the most despised superstars in NXT. And yes, he did have a couple of big like moments, you know, jumping off of the War Games cage, jumping off of ladders and all that. But the biggest accomplishment that he will have is defeating Johnny Gargano if he can pull it off. And what's interesting about this is that Johnny Gargano wanted this to be an unsanctioned match, meaning no matter what they do to each other, they cannot sue WWE for what happens. They cannot sue each other for what happens. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually excited for this one, because the last time Gargano was in an unsanctioned match on NXT, I believe, was it Takeover New Orleans? NXT Takeover. Yeah, I want to say it was Takeover New Orleans. Let's see. Check on Wikipedia. Let's see. Let's see. Yep, I was right. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in an unsanctioned match, where if Johnny Gargano won, he would be reinstated to NXT, and that was interesting. But what I find even more interesting was that the card for TakeOver New Orleans was stacked. We had Adam Cole, EC3, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, and the Velveteen Dream in a ladder match for the NXT North American title. Adam Cole would end up becoming the first champion. Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon for the NXT Women's title. We had the Undisputed Era against the Authors of Pain, and of course the team of Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong for in which it was the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It was a triple threat match for the NXT Tag Team titles. We had Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas for the NXT title, and then the unsanctioned match. You know what? I'm gonna be perfectly honest. A part of me kind of wants to watch all of the previous NXT Takeover events just for fun. Just for fun. A part of me wants to, but I don't know if I will. But this is interesting because Grayson Waller has made a name for himself as arguably one of the biggest jackasses in WWE. Johnny Gargano is... There's a reason why Johnny Gargano is known as Johnny Takeover. Johnny, Johnny Takeover? Yeah, Johnny Takeover, because every show that he becomes a part of, whether he wins the match or whether he loses the match, he always stands and delivers. No pun intended. No pun intended. So this is going to be interesting for Gargano, because this is a match 16 months in the making. A battle to see, it's a battle to see who can truly, again, no pun intended, stand and deliver. And I think it's going to be Johnny Gargano. I think he's going to be the one to pull it off. But here's the thing. Knowing Grayson Waller, he's going to try and find a way to use the unsanctioned match rules to his advantage. And that might just be what Grayson needs to defeat Johnny Gargano. But you guys know me. You guys know me. I'm a big Johnny Gargano fan, so I'm going with Johnny Takeover in this one. But now we move on to the main event for the NXT title, the biggest and the youngest main event in NXT history. Carmelo Hayes, the challenger. Braun Breaker, the champion for the NXT title. This is a match 2 years in the making. Reason being is because they both came up to NXT together. They started out as security guards. Then they got called up to NXT. They both won. They both had won championships. And now they're here. This is interesting because Breaker and Hayes, they've got mutual respect for one another. And that's amazing. That's incredible. That proves that Carmelo Hayes is nothing like Grayson Waller. He respects his business unlike a guy like Grayson Waller. So this has the makings of what could potentially be match of the year, perhaps even match of the decade, and that says a lot. But it comes down to who wants it more, Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes, and the thing is, they both need this. Let's not forget, last year's Stand and Deliver, Braun Breaker walked into Dallas as the challenger, challenging Dolph Ziggler for the NXT title. Yes, he did lose, and yes, he was able to regain the title, the Raw after WrestleMania, but that was just it. That was just it. He believes that he should have won the title at Stand and Deliver instead of the Raw after WrestleMania. So if Breaker wins, he'll be able to reestablish himself as a dominant NXT champion, and he'll have held the title for a whole year. But if Carmelo Hayes wins, then everything that he worked his ass off for, from being the winner of the NXT Men's Breakout Tournament, from becoming a 2-time North American champion, from becoming a Cruiserweight champion, from all of that leading into this match, will it have been worth it? So who needs it more? Who truly needs it more? Honestly, I think it's Carmelo Hayes. Braun Breaker is at the point now where he doesn't need this match. He's been a part of NXT for close to 2-3 years now. I think his time is up. I think his time in NXT is up. I think it's time for him to go to the main roster. I'm picking Carmelo Hayes. I'm picking Carmelo Hayes, but that brings me to the question of the day, which is this. Among the card as it sits now, because there might be more matches later on, what are your guys' predictions for NXT Stand and Deliver? Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more premium live event results and predictions in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below. as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.